Hey, Guy here. Good teams make each other look bad. And when they play each other in the end, sometimes people think that each of those teams is average, but not me. Not after watching Monday Night Football. I've seen that take, and I don't agree with that take. And I think the way the Eagles look right now sets up for a great Brock Purdy moment. After beating the Chiefs on Monday night, the Eagles remain one game ahead of Detroit, 2 games ahead of the Niners for the NFC's 1 seed. They play Buffalo next, then they play the Niners. If they beat the Bills, they will enter the Niners game having won 4 straight with wins over Miami, Dallas, and Buffalo. The Commanders worked in there as well. And some people want you to see Monday Night Football and see a vulnerable Eagles team. Not me. Can they be beat? Yes. Can the Niners beat them? Of course. But I don't think the Niners are going to end up playing anything less than the team that we expected Philadelphia to be at the beginning of the year. Here's why. They have strengths where the 49ers have weaknesses. Two specifically. They have a true deep speed threat in Devontae Smith, who beat the Chiefs in a big moment on Monday night. And they have a violent pass rush against a 49ers team that relies on Brock Purdy to get the ball out quickly, in part to protect himself. Plus, they can really run the ball with physicality. They can also really run the ball with explosion. DeAndre Swift has more explosive runs of 20 yards or more this year than Christian McCaffrey does. And we know McCaffrey is a beast. And one other thing, Philadelphia plays on a different sized field than everybody else because of the brotherly shove. The average scoring drive in the NFL is 6 plays. That's how long it, on average, took to score over the course of the season in 2022. So we'll use that number for this year. Well, you're going to get an automatic 1 to 2 yards on the tush push. And we saw it come up multiple times last night on Monday Night Football, both after the Devontae Smith catch on the goal line, automatic touchdown. They had a 2nd down and 1, automatic 1st down. It's unstoppable. So that means that you are playing the Eagles offense on like a 98-yard field. There's just 2 yards of that field, whether it be a yard at the goal line and a yard at the 50, or maybe 1.5 yard and 1/2 yard, whatever it is. Over the course of those 6 to 8 plays, they're going to use to score. Maybe it's going to be 10. Even then, it's going to be more. But however many plays it is, they're going to get at least a couple, maybe 1 first down. They're going to get multiple first down / scores a game, short yardage situations with that play. And so that means that you as a defense, first of all, you're defending 4 downs in a disadvantageous situation more often. A lot of teams go for it on 4th down, 4th and 3, where they spread you out or whatever, some gun run, some BS. These guys, when they get a 3rd down pickup of 3rd and 9, they pick up 9 or 8, whatever it is. They give themselves a yard to go. It's over. It's over. So you are playing them on a 98-yard field. That has to be stressful for the defense. I'm here to tell you, don't be fooled by what you saw on Monday night. If you saw Hurts's box score, went 14 to 22, 150, no touchdown passes. Did you see the weather? Did you see Mahomes? Mahomes was 24 of 43 for 177. Pretty sure Philly gets some credit for that. Oh, sacked once, just 1 sack. I saw him running for his life every possession, Patrick Mahomes. At the end, he had a chance to make plays. At the end, 2 plays his receivers didn't make for him. The good news for the 49ers is they have much better receivers than Kansas City has. And that's what gets us to Brock Purdy. There will be guaranteed a chance at a moment, like a real moment, a true, no one will be able to say anything about it. It happened against the Bucs kind of moment. It happened against the Cardinals kind of moment. Because to beat the Eagles, you have to have moments in crunch time from the quarterback. It's not going to be necessarily pretty. You look down and you see what did they win with last night? They won with physicality at the run game. They won with big plays and big moments. It's what they do. They win these grimy games. They've done it repeatedly. Oh, they don't look as dominant as they did last. I agree, but I know they're not going to be any easier to beat than they would have been last season. And they did it by getting after the quarterback, by disrupting Mahomes, which we know nobody knows better than the 49ers firsthand about Philly's ability to do that. So if he does it, and he's going to have the chance to do it against Philadelphia in 2 weeks, it's going to be special. I don't care what anybody tells you about Monday night. uh, if you came away from that Monday night game going, two more teams who are really flawed, then I think you're missing kind of what it looks like when two. I'm not going to call them great because they are flawed. Kansas City, especially, not great. But when two really good teams meet in a big game on a big stage in the driving rain, it looks like that sometimes. And the question is not like, how do you beat them on a perfect field at home? The question is, how do you beat them in the mud when it's all on the line? And they're built for the grime. Philly's built for the grime. And again, they play on a 98-yard field. Those are 6 big feet, 2 big yards that they get that you don't get. So I did not come away from that game feeling like Philly was any more vulnerable. They keep saying the same thing that I understand. Oh, we haven't played our best football yet. Haven't played our best football yet. But it takes something special to go into Kansas City and win on a Monday night. So I don't know if that was their best football, but in the end, it was winning football. And I don't feel any less respect for the Philadelphia Eagles after watching that game than I did at the beginning of the year, than I did at this time last year. Things are not going to be perfect. That's most weeks. It doesn't get to look pretty. It doesn't get to look perfect. You got to win it when it's imperfect. And that's what they did. You know, you don't give a standing ovation to your pilot when you take off smooth, land smooth, everybody's on time. Great. Sully Sullenberger, everything goes wrong, land that thing on the Hudson. You get a standing O, a movie. Well, first they try to put you in jail or whatever, but then you get a movie and a book and, fame. And that's where the quarterbacks, that's where you have your moments. Not beating everybody by 14. Because here's the thing. You probably don't get to play this Eagles team up 14. You're probably up 3. You're probably trying to keep the dam from bursting on every single play. And the Chiefs did a pretty good job until the dam burst. They hit Devontae Smith for 41 yards. The brotherly shove. They scored a touchdown. Foregone conclusion. Ball game. Devontae Smith. He's going to get one on you. Can you respond? You're in a dogfight with DeAndre Swift. That guy runs his ass off. So I was going back and forth on Monday night between the Aikman Buck broadcast on ESPN and the Manning brothers broadcast. If the Mannings didn't have a guest, I stayed because it was just such a good game. I needed just game analysis on Monday night. It would have been a great game. I saw somebody say this. I don't remember who, but they said this game, before the game, they said this sets up to be kind of a game for the Mannings to test out no guests. And I agreed. I go back and forth most nights. I enjoy them both. They both do good shows. But some of these games are so big, I just want analysis on every play. And so when I went back to the Manning cast late just to check they had no guest, I stayed for a few. And there was a late possession when Philly got a holding call, offensive holding call. Hurts ran out of the pocket. Peyton was beside himself. The Mannings were beside themselves at the end of the game last night. I don't know if they wanted Kansas City to win or just felt like Kansas City deserved to win. Peyton said he thought Kansas City played better than Philly. But that's kind of that's the deal here, right? If you're in a tie game or you're down 3 and you've been outplayed all day, you don't say, well, we got outplayed today. I guess it's over. You try to win without your fastball. Most pitchers will tell you you're not going to have all 4 pitches working every day. Well, that's Philly right now. That's Philly. So respect them. Respect them. That's it. I mean, don't come out of that game. I saw some of that like, boy, the NFC's wide open. Okay. Let's see. I just know they can win that game. Lions, Niners, NFC Championship. Look, I've come around on the Lions being a really good team. I have not come around on the Lions being a true Super Bowl contender because of the quarterback. I don't think he's as good as Brock. I don't think he's as good as Hurts. I think both of those teams should be able to play him well. He gets the ball out quick, though. So you got to respect it. But, their schedule is obviously favorable. Once you get into the postseason, you get them head-to-head. It'd be tough to go on the road and play. You don't want to go to Detroit. They are not as good as you, so don't give them the advantage of being at home and evening the playing field. Robbie on the stream says both those teams look beatable last night. Mahomes can't catch his own passes, and if hands aren't up, Hurts ass, he isn't elite. The Niners contained him in the NFC Championship game for 160 total yards. The point is not that the Eagles might beat you 38-10. The point is that it's going to be a knockdown, drag out, close game, and he might have 160 total yards. Or last night, 150 passing, no touchdown passes. But if you're in a 3-point game with them, which you probably will be, in a big moment, there goes Devontae Smith sprinting down the sideline with Mooney Ward or Ambry Thomas on his hip. What happens? They scored a touchdown. Fine. Chiefs had time. What happens? Mahomes over the top. Would have been a ball that play doesn't win him the game, but wins him the game. Dropped. Penalties. Backwards. Mahomes running for his life. Mahomes gets hit as he kind of flips the ball up, batted away. Like you're just going to, the point is just you're going to have to make special plays to beat them because hidden in there shitty numbers, 14-22 from 150 is a few special plays, which in a close game are the difference. Frank on the stream says concerned about Philly's pass rush versus the Niners O-line. Yeah. Kiwis, if we don't hit Philly in the mouth, we will lose and they will win the Super Bowl. What I'm saying is you can hit them in the mouth. They're going to hit you back in the mouth. You got to take a punch. Then you got to hit back. You're going to throw a pick. They're going to you're going to get a fumble. I mean, all that stuff's going to happen. It's just Niners playing a lot of really clean games that are not easy. But in the end, they make look easy. I don't think that's this game. Philly doesn't let you play that way. Comment from Glass City. Philly's sticks are 8 yards long, not 10. People don't understand just how much of an advantage they have over everybody else. They're playing on a shorter field, and it's wild. I mean, I haven't seen anything like it since I called high school football games in Fresno in like 2010. The Clovis East Cougars, whatever they were. They had a coach named Tim Murphy. They never punted. Ever, 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 ever. They just lined up like 4 guys in the backfield and ran it down your throat. 4 plays in a row. And they won. They were really good. Wasn't the Panthers? Clovis East. It's been too long. Sorry, Clovis East. I don't know where Tim Murphy is now, but I know then he just made life miserable because for a defense, not only did you have to defend a 4th down, and I think there's something different about the way you have to defend the Eagles' 4th down versus all these other teams that go for it on 4th down. Their 4th down is you're lining up thinking, no way. How are we going to, nothing we can do. Let me go get my neck broke. Peyton and Eli were having a conversation about it last night, and Eli was saying, man, do you think Jason Kelce likes it? And Peyton's like, they were debating, and Eli's like, there's no way he likes this. This has to be miserable. Peyton's like, no, I'm sure he loves it. Maybe it was the reverse. I don't know. But I think he likes it to a point, although he said it's like you're under the pile. You're suffocating under there. But they're good at it, so they like it. But for everybody else, it's absolutely miserable. It's awful. Patrick Willis actually, I hate to do this right here. I hate to do this now. But this is what Patrick Willis tweeted last night. The tush push play, the Eagles run. If the offensive linemen are leading with the crown, the top of the helmet to block, how is that cool? Or any different than a defenseless player? ! I hate to be this guy, especially now because here I am talking Niners all day long and it just sounds bitter. I have been pro brotherly shove and tush push because I don't think the Eagles should be punished for just being better at something that everybody else is allowed to do. But watching it on Monday night, it was the first time I thought, kind of makes me think of the shift in baseball. Just because it is the right thing to do doesn't mean it's the most entertaining thing. And it's the first time on Monday night I felt like they should ban it. Just the thing you would have to ban is just being able to push from behind. You can't ban a quarterback sneak. And even if you ban the push, they still might get it a lot. But I think the NFL's got to do it because it takes away some of the most exciting plays in football, which are these short yardage goal line situations, and just makes them irrelevant. So I again, I know from me it sounds, uh, I don't know, probably like sour grapes or whatever. Um, and you wouldn't do it in the middle of the year, obviously. So the way it is the way it is. But even if every team in the league but the Eagles, if the Niners were the only team that successfully did it, I would say the same thing, in the same way that the shift was just a little counter entertaining. I think this is kind of the same, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because they're not doing anything wrong. Like, they're excellent at something that you would assume everyone's good at, but nobody else is good at it. Like, they're good at it. It definitely feels dangerous, but no one's gotten hurt on it yet, so I can't say like, there's not. I don't know that we have the evidence on that. Although the Willis point, like, it's a logical point from Patrick Willis. Uh, like, this is a entertainment product, and I think the tush push for for 31 teams and and the general public makes it a little less entertaining. I've always been with sports an advocate of the entertainment factor. Um, I didn't I didn't like it, with some exceptions, and I was wrong on a few of those exceptions. Like, I didn't love putting a runner at second base in extra innings for baseball. You know what? More entertaining. It's better. My bad. I was wrong about that. I was right about the NFL draft. For years, there was this debate about whether or not, you know, um, Schefter and all these guys would break the news before the pick was in. And I never understood, like, this is a TV show. This is a TV show. This draft is a TV show. Okay. This is not actual like war games here where you really need to know where the enemy is 7 seconds earlier than anybody else knows. It's entertainment. And in entertainment, in a TV show, you would not want to watch a TV show where the person next to you has already seen the TV show, and 7 seconds before something happens, like, oh, this dude's about to get shot. Oh, watch out. There's about to be a dinosaur coming from around the corner. Oh, she's about to break up with him. No, that's not. You would stop watching that either with that person or stop watching that show. And so the NFL wised up to, this is entertainment and it's a TV show. Let's keep the drama. And they said, we're not going to do that anymore. And I think I preferred to watch the draft without Twitter, knowing exactly every pick, because I just want to be entertained. Is that a perfect analogy? No, it's not a perfect analogy. And like I said, I know it sounds sour, so I'm going to stop there because that's not what this is about. What do you ban? You just ban the push part of it. What Willis is talking about, I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can block without. I don't know how you can sneak without putting your head down. But I understand his frustration because you just can't get under. You just can't get under. Yeah, you let the defense push on. How about you let the defense start lifting each other on field goal blocks? That would be my special teams. You're allowed to climb on dudes and jump off their shoulders now, which you're not allowed to do. But I do hope that Kelsey or Hurts don't get hurt. But it's not about that. Here's a comment: if the Eagles don't respect us, but we have to respect them. I'm no us. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to respect anybody. I'm just telling you that's a good football team. Like, I'm not going to be emotional about it. I'm not here to like tattoo any logo on my forehead. I'm just telling you, some people came out of that game saying, seeing an Eagles team that looked weak, and I did not. Jalen played awful last night, and the MVP conversation stirs up this morning. Disgusting. The narrative must go on. I'm not here for that. I said yesterday, I said on the pod yesterday, I said on a video yesterday, Monday's going to be a big night for the MVP, Monday Night Football. And I was right, but not in the sense that, like, Risen here is mad about, in the sense that was a chance for one of those two guys to have an MVP level performance in a league where right now the MVP is wide open, and neither one of them really did, which I think bodes well for Christian McCaffrey, and I think bodes well for Brock Purdy. We're still a ways away. To me, McCaffrey right now, and I said this before the year when I looked at the odds, I said McCaffrey is a major value pick for MVP because he has come into this year with momentum of people watched him last year going, this is one of the best players in the league. Now that he's on the 49ers. He still looks like that. It's been a long time since a non-quarterback has won, but McCaffrey has the recipe. Leads the league in touchdowns, leads in overall touchdowns, receiving plus rushing 14. And Mahomes, what did Mahomes throw last night? 2 touchdowns? 2 touchdowns. So he has one more touchdown than Brock does right now. But that was not an MVP performance from Mahomes last night. It almost was, but it wasn't. It was not an MVP performance from Jalen last night. Josh Allen says, I'm back. We'll see. But right now, he's not the MVP. Joe Burrow's out. Herbert's not an MVP. Maybe Lamar. Definitely Lamar Jackson's on the table. But it's, CJ Stroud, no. So it's open. The MVP is open for Brock Purdy. The MVP is definitely open for Christian McCaffrey. That was not an MVP level performance by either guy last night, and that works in both of their favors. This is the last year the Tush push will be allowed. I actually kind of think that this will be the last year that the Tush push is allowed. I don't know. Has somebody reported that? I feel that way. Maybe Frank, who just mentioned that on the chat, thinks that. Or somebody, did Florio say that? It feels like something Florio would write. QB is a sitting duck on top of the Tush push pile. A linebacker or safety should take a running start, destroy the quarterback. The Eagles will never use it again. But it's tough. Like, people have been diving all over that thing. You're going to hurt I think your defender might hurt himself trying to do that too. So that's what, to me, makes it hard to defend, is that I think it's a dangerous play for your defensive players to play. Eventually, luck turns unlucky. I mean, if it's such an advantage, why all the close games? Haven't beat anybody convincingly, so big advantage. I think sometimes, I know the Niners have a massive point differential. Putting up an extra score against the Bucs means nothing to me once you get into the playoffs. They just what you did. The Steelers just fired Matt Canada, who I said way back in week 1, I dare you to name 5 worse offensive coordinators than Matt Canada. Guess what? I was right. I said I'm not buying Kenny Pickett before the year. Guess what? I was right. I don't care what you do to the Steelers. The Steelers are there. The Cardinals are there. The Bucs are there. The Giants are there for you to beat them, stay healthy, and get the 1 seed. The Eagles are there to get into a dogfight that you got to find a way to win by 3. So you can not respect Philly all you want. All I know is when you play in close games and you win repeatedly, like, look at who they beat the last 4 weeks. Dallas, who I know you and me, certainly me, I don't take them seriously, but they're hard. They're not easy to beat. Niners get credit for blowing them out. They're going to play Buffalo next week at Kansas City last night. I think you have to be insane to watch. Just completely. You want to talk about having a agenda? To watch the Eagles go into Kansas City in the pouring rain on Monday Night Football, win the game, and go, not impressed. Well, what about anybody's football watching lives tells you that winning at Kansas City in the driving rain on Monday Night Football, the appropriate response is, I don't know. We're inefficient. Like, that was a playoff game. So take Philly lightly at your own risk. M. Brennan, how could people watch last night's game and have less respect, fear for the Eagles? Us Niner fans are delusional. I don't get, but people do. Here's another comment. We can only win blowouts. In Philly, it will be a 17-20 game. We'll see. All right, glad it's not just me. Basie Man says, Mahomes is throwing to DoorDash drivers for receivers. Chiefs ain't it that this year. But they got him. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. But also, they got him. Taylor Swift was there that Kelsey didn't bring his game. Andy Reid got really mad at Kelsey twice yesterday. Ken Chun, Niners going to get boat raced by Philly at Philly in January. Booker it. Kid loose. I'll worry about Philly after we beat the Seahawks. Great win for any team that plays in Philadelphia. Yeah, man. Like it just blows me away how many people think you got to look like the A+ team. Go listen to any like elite pitcher talk about baseball. It's always like, I came out of the bullpen, I didn't have my fastball, didn't have my curveball, then in the first inning, I didn't have my slider, but I had my fastball. It's just not going to go perfectly. Most times it's not going to go perfectly, and you got to find a way. Comment, like how you say don't take Dallas seriously. Most Eagles fans I know don't take us seriously. I know I got a buddy Eddie who nonstop shit talking me. He thinks I think like I take bullets for all you guys from this guy because he thinks I'm out here. It's really what it is Debo. Anything that Debo does, Philly fans are like, oh yeah. Think we got lucky last year. The reason I don't take Dallas seriously as a Super Bowl contender is because I don't think Mike McCarthy can win a championship. Oh, but Mike has won a championship. Yes, I know. Mike's not winning another championship. The Cowboys are too flawed. They make too many mistakes. Winning a championship requires you to be, if you're not going to have an elite quarterback and a really good defense, and they have a really good defense, but not an elite quarterback. That's good. I like that. But what the Dallas Cowboys lack is repeatedly in big games and in crunch time, they do silly things. They make mistakes. They don't handle late game situations well. Their 2-minute operation is clunky. So that is why I don't take them seriously as a Super Bowl contender. Additionally, the Niners have beaten them now multiple times in a row. Now, Dallas, Dallas could easily pick one or two of those games and say, well, they could have gone our way. That's true. They could have. But I think part of the reason they haven't is because Dallas is not buttoned down. I use that phrase a lot with them. They're just not buttoned down. They are a little too loosey-goosey. They do weird shit. And, I would say Dallas as a team is kind of the definition of a player who doesn't just do his job, right? Belichick's thing, do your job. Dallas as a team tries to do things like outside of who they are and what they are pretty regularly. Weird trick plays, were just fundamentals would, I think, put them in better situations. So that's why I don't take Dallas as a Super Bowl contender seriously. Doesn't mean they couldn't beat the Niners in a one-off, although they haven't. Doesn't mean they couldn't beat somebody they're not supposed to beat. But I just think you got to win too many games to win a Super Bowl. You got to win too many games that require you to be buttoned down, to do your job, to have good like operational fundamentals, and they don't have a lot of those things. And that's why I don't think Dallas can win a Super Bowl. And I've said that since Mike McCarthy's first game. I've said it since his first game. I think they played the Rams. I watched the game, and I said after the game, not it. They hired the wrong coach. Now, am I just lucky to have been right? Maybe. But he lied to the owner to get the job. He told the owner that he'd watched every single game during the course of his off year. And then at his press conference, Ed Werder asked Mike McCarthy, Mike, what did you learn when you watched every game of the NFL season? And Mike said, I didn't actually. I just told Jerry that to get the job. That's the Cowboys coach. Now tell me why I should take them seriously. Yes, I'm criticizing the Texas Coast offense. Zach says, unfortunately, I don't think the NFL quashes a tush push solution until Hurts is a dead body on top of a heap of men. Obviously not actually dead, but gone for a significant amount of time. They would do well. I'm not going to pretend like I'm interested in stopping the tush push for Jalen's health. Although I do think every time I see the play, I hold my breath, but not so much for him, for the other guys. But Yeah, Brock got concussed on a sneak. No, yeah, concussed on a sneak. Um, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, but for me, it's just purely from an entertainment standpoint. But yeah, I mean, you're putting your guy at risk every time. Go UW, Big Penix Energy, NFL throwing southpaw, also going to take down screen pass hero Ducky Bo Nix, Haberman Pac-12 after dark, final season Pac-12. I'm going to the Pac-12 championship game in a week. Be there a week from Friday. I'll be at the game. We'll see if it's Washington, Oregon. I have a Heisman vote. I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for yet, but I know they don't like us. They don't like us revealing our ballot. I will tell you, last year I did have Michael Penix on my ballot. You get 3 votes. Last year I voted Michael Penix. I voted Caleb 1 and Penix 3rd. So we'll see what I do this year on that. But John Smokin, Eagles fans are just lying to themselves. They knew they would lose if not for Brock going out. I did not feel that way. Now they got the, God, Kyle always challenges the wrong play. They got the Devontae Smith catch. I think that game was probably going to settle down. It wasn't going to be Philly just moving the ball. It did. I mean, it did settle down. Not probably. It did. We can say it did settle down. Maybe Philly plays that game a little differently if Brock's in it and the Niners are scoring more. But as it was, the Niners defense played probably one of the great forgotten defensive performances in recent NFL history. The way they played in that game, keeping them in the game. But I don't think Eagles fans are lying to themselves. They're going to get the game at home, and right now they're trending to get the game at home again. Now they got Buffalo this week. If Buffalo beats them, as big as Niners Eagles is now, it's going to be even bigger because then it's really going to feel like, we'll see what Detroit does. But then it's going to feel Detroit winning this last weekend hurt when the Bears had them on the ropes. But it's going to feel like it's for the 1 seed, even if it's not. Because again, if they lose this week and Detroit's the 1 seed, these two teams are fighting it out for a path to Detroit. That would be 10 spot on the super chat. It's this simple. Philly has an unstoppable play, and they will win the Super Bowl because of it. People need to accept it. No team has a chance. When all else fails, tush push for the win. You got to. Kansas City had a chance last night. They had to keep scoring, and they didn't. Well, they don't. They don't score. I think the stat is they haven't scored a second half point in the last 4 games. Kansas City. It's insane. They're averaging, I think it's like 5 points something. I saw the tweet last night. Points in the second half. Under 6 points in the second half this year for Kansas City. That is mind-boggling. Feels like the Ravens are coming out of the AFC. Vote for 3 random quarterbacks. No, we'll see. I got an idea who I'm going to vote for, but concerned the O-line will get devoured and Purdy won't get a chance to perform great quarterbacking. What can the Niners do to bolster their O-line? No, the ball's got to come out, which Brock does. Brock is one of the fastest getting rid of the football. That's the key. Like Kyle's got to be on point. McCaffrey, you got to be able to run the ball. And Brock's got to play really well. That's what they can do. I mean, they'll use Kittle, but that's the move. That's what you got. This is the team. Kansas City leads the league in drop balls 26. I mean, I'll say this. The ball that got dropped by the white guy at the end of the game, is that really a drop? It was a 30-yard laser beam with a dude on his back. I mean, it's the NFL, and, Debo and A.J. Brown make that catch. Does that dude make that catch? Mahomes threw that ball 100 miles an hour. Is that a drop? I mean, they have drops. Don't get me wrong. Is that a drop? The one at the end. It was a missed opportunity. Is it a drop? I don't, what Kelsey had on that third down, that was a drop. Was that a drop? I don't know if I can count that one a drop, but Jared says Hurts' running ability makes it hard to stop Philly. But sometimes he takes him out of the pass game, and there was a play last night I started to mention earlier. Peyton got mad because he's like, "Why are you out of the pocket? Don't run, stay right there." And it created an offensive holding. Peyton about lost it on that play. I don't know if you were watching the Manning cast, you saw that. MVS had a drop as well. Yeah, I mean, that was a winning moment. A mojo moment, as Mike McCarthy would call it. That's what Mike McCarthy calls mojo moments. Really tough catch for MVS, like kind of tracking it over. But yeah, that was a significant drop. 38 of 43. 88% of Brandon Ayuk's receptions have been first down. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. He almost had 2 go balls last week. Should have. But the penalty on the first one, Brock threw it really well. Jacoby Bean got the penalty. Avery, my dad's a dog. My brother's a duck. I'm well aware of the competition. I hear it all the time. Pac-12 championship will be a deciding factor. I hear it all the time. Pac-12 ship will be, yeah. I'm aware of the comparison. I've thought for a while that Oregon's going to win the rematch. Oregon's got to beat Oregon State this week and have Arizona. Well, if Oregon loses, then they need Arizona to lose. But Oregon's got to beat Oregon State this week, and then you get Washington, Oregon rematch. And I thought for a while that Oregon was just going to win that rematch. Not so sure anymore. Sad Ute noises. I mean, Cam Rising's coming back, so that's good. Ivan, not sold on Wilkes. Yeah. One of the top that's fine. The Philly game's going to go a long way. The Seattle game's going to go a long way. Like, what do they do this week against these receivers? The key is Yak. Philly's linebackers, secondary are poor tacklers. Their defensive line is terrifying. See Jalen Carter dive through Creed Humphrey's legs, the center for the Chiefs, to try and catch. If you didn't see it, I tweeted the video. To try and catch a spike. That was an extremely athletic play and dangerous. I mean, he could have gone crown of the helmet to Creed Humphrey's nuts. If I was Creed Humphrey, I would have been terrified. So, Frank, I don't see how Oregon can lose. They are a machine. Well, they run the rock and they defend. Yeah. This week, something to watch in the Civil War game, which I think we're back to calling it that, which is fine with me. Mateo Uyunglele. DJ Uyunglele's younger brother plays for Oregon. True freshman pass rusher. Has never sacked his brother. I saw this. Yeah, Jalen Carter said he saw some high school player do it on YouTube. Somebody tweeted at me last night and said that now I'm forgetting his name. What was the defensive lineman? Grady Jarrett. That Grady Jarrett tried it for the Falcons. And I looked it up. Grady Jarrett tried it for the Falcons in 2017. The video's out there. And he claims that he got it. The video is not clear because he didn't dive underneath. He dove like through. He claims he intercepted it. The problem was that it wasn't something they reviewed or looked at because the Jets got a false start penalty. The offense got a false start penalty. And so the play was blown dead. But Grady Jarrett apparently tried it 6 years ago. Don with a 5 spot in the super chat. Thanks, Don. Philly, the team to beat in the NFC. Awesome dual threat and Hurts. A big plus playing them in 12 days. Why is it a big plus playing them in 12 days? Oh, maybe you mean because the Niners are going to have extra rest. Niners play on Thursday. And so the Niners have extra rest for that game. I think if that's what you mean, Don, then I agree. Don't overlook the Seahawks. I agree. Jalen Carter's girlfriend shoplifting. Yeah, was that like at a Target? Misunderstanding. The self-checkout can be very confusing. Yeah, mini buy. The Niners just don't get many of those. They've been, as we know, we've talked about before the year, a little disadvantaged. I think the thing that helps them not overlook Seattle, in addition to it being Seattle, I think anybody you play on a Thursday night, you're just not gonna. It's those games are weird. They're not weird because you overlook anybody because you just know how hard it is on a Thursday night. So they're not gonna overlook them on a Thursday night. You're gonna need the rest. Yeah. All right. Gotta roll. If you're watching it live, happy Tuesday. If you're watching it some other time, great. Don't be fooled. Don't lull yourself into a false sense of security. But it's a roller coaster. So enjoy the ride. All right, everybody, hit that like button if you're here on YouTube. Appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. On your way out the door, just like button, like button, like button. Help that shit blow up. All right, later, everybody.